Today's goal is 200 likes. The story opened amidst a scene of utter devastation, a sight tragically common in certain tales. The city lay engulfed in flames, its skyline ravaged by war. In the skies above, armies clashed with alien forces, their weapons scorching the heavens. On the ground, colossal monsters rampaged through the streets, feasting on fleeing civilians as though they were mere prey. Suddenly, a beast of unimaginable proportions emerged. Its massive form blocked out the sun, plunging the battlefield into darkness. Yet for reasons inexplicable, its presence felt strangely familiar, almost comforting. The protagonist stepped forward, drawn to the towering entity, as though peering into a mirror. He sensed that he and this gargantuan creature were somehow one and the same. Without hesitation, the colossal beast turned on the encroaching monsters and unleashed a devastating energy beam from its maw, an attack reminiscent of Godzilla's legendary atomic breath. Witnessing this display, the terrified humans cowering below felt an unexpected surge of hope. They knew that something this powerful was now on their side. From atop the city's ruins, the protagonist understood that, in time, the world would revere him as a deity, a savior who commanded this awe-inspiring creature. Humanity's hope now rested with him. Yet this extraordinary destiny had not arisen overnight. Only a few months earlier, the news had been filled with bizarre events. On June 2, 2224, Ning City Zoo was reportedly attacked by a serpent over 100 meters in length, its species unknown to experts. Around the same time, several citizens captured video of a whale-like colossus drifting through the northern skies, igniting widespread alarm. Internationally wanted criminals had also surfaced in Ning City. All of this breaking news played on a television in a quiet room where the protagonist, Chen Shu, lay unconscious and bleeding atop a table. Curiously, Chen could see himself lying there as though detached from his own body. Puzzled, he turned to face a nearby mirror, only to encounter an even greater shock. He now appeared as a sea iguana. Chen Shu, a sophomore at Ning University who preferred renting off campus to avoid dorm life, had always been fascinated by reptiles and amphibians, drawn to their vibrant coloration. That very day, he had visited his usual pet store, intrigued by a new batch of exotic creatures. Among them was a sea iguana, known for its generally docile disposition. But fate took a sudden turn. The moment the iguana was set free, it shattered its enclosure and sank its teeth into Chen's hand, causing excruciating pain. Acting on instinct, Chen struck the iguana's head with his phone. Startled, the creature released its grip, but not before knocking the phone back into Chen's head with its tail. In that strange, shared moment, both Chen and the iguana lost consciousness. When Chen finally awakened, he found the sea iguana before him. Something fundamental had changed between them. To his astonishment, raising his hand prompted the iguana to mirror his movement perfectly. It was as if he could control the creature's body as easily as his own arm. He grinned, considering that this might be his so-called golden finger, the special ability that often heralds a hero's journey. But as he reflected further, disappointment settled in. Others who acquired such gifts often became world-shaking villains or transcendent beings. Meanwhile, he was saddled with a modest lizard. As he brooded, both his stomach and the iguana's rumbled in unison. Chen realized he had been unconscious all day and was now desperately hungry. He wondered what a sea iguana might eat. The curious reptile clambered onto his hand as he contemplated. Reasoning that a carnivorous lizard would likely enjoy meat, Chen retrieved a steak from his refrigerator and prepared it to a perfect medium rare. The iguana's eyes gleamed at the sight, and it eagerly devoured the meal. Chen smiled in relief. "I knew it," he murmured. "Sea iguanas and lizards both enjoy meat." Just as the iguana finished its meal, a sudden system notification appeared before Chen's eyes. "Your clone has received 5 evolution points. Your constitution has increased by 0.5. Chen was stunned. Before he could fully comprehend what was happening, a comprehensive status window materialized before him, his very own system panel. He examined the details carefully. Current status, level 0, constitution, 8.5, spirit, 12, talents, mind control, abilities, external aura, beginner, chi perception, beginner, skills, extremities, boxing, beginner, 48 PTs, stepping cloud jump, beginner, 66 PTs, springing leg, beginner, 39 PTs, clone, sea iguana, evolution points, 5200 for stage 1. The sight of his skills brought back memories of his childhood. Chen's father had rigorously trained him in martial arts, insisting that strength had to come from the feet, rise through the thighs, and center in the abdomen. These brutal sessions lasted 10 to 12 hours a day, leaving Chen exhausted. Whenever he asked to rest, his father refused, calling it cowardly. Then, when Chen was 10, his father handed him a box, their entire savings, and told him he had to embark on his own journey. For the first time, his father gently patted his head and reminded him never to neglect his training. Someday, when you're strong enough, you'll see the world's other side. Chen had asked how he might find his father again. The only answer he received was, "Once you reach the rank of Grandmaster, though by then, I myself may no longer be around." With that, his father left, and never returned. A decade had passed since that day. Lost in thought, Chen glanced at an old photograph of his parents, feeling the weight of time. Meanwhile, the sea iguana had devoured every scrap of steak. Its body began glowing faintly red, and to Chen's astonishment, it appeared slightly larger. Checking the status window, he saw its evolution points had increased to 15. This revelation stunned him. The iguana had gained 10 points from a single meal. As he tried to understand the system's mechanics, something else caught his eye. Glancing into a mirror, Chen noticed his own physique had changed dramatically. He now sported defined 8-pack abs, something he certainly hadn't had before. It dawned on him, the iguana's gains were transferring to him as well. Chen looked at the sea iguana, imagining its potential. If it could evolve further after amassing more points, perhaps it could eventually transform into the colossal behemoth from his dreams. The thought excited him. With this system, he could truly become a martial arts grandmaster, just as his father had urged him all those years ago. The following day, Chen visited the marketplace, where he purchased 10 pounds of prime boneless beef and 20 pounds of lean boneless pork. After scanning the QR code to complete his payment, he loaded the supplies into his car, reasoning that they would suffice for the next few days. Without wasting time, he drove straight back to his apartment. There, Chen demonstrated his culinary expertise by preparing an array of exquisite dishes for the sea iguana. The creature's eyes lit up at the sight of the feast, and it devoured every plate within seconds. Through their mental link, Chen sensed that while the iguana enjoyed the pork, it preferred the richer flavor of the beef. Disconnecting from the link left him slightly fatigued, but he stretched and mused aloud. A bit more cumin would improve that beef dish. I'll remember that next time. After its meal, the sea iguana dozed off, lounging carelessly with its sunglasses still on. Meanwhile, Chen retreated to his martial arts room to train. He struck the punching bag with full force, deforming it significantly. A system notification alerted him that his extreme boxing skill had gained 5 experience points. Pleased, Chen smiled. His constitution and training efficiency had clearly improved. Over the next 2 days, his relentless practice destroyed 2 punching bags, and the third fared little better. Though exhausted, he reveled in the satisfaction of growing stronger through sheer effort. Before ending his session, he delivered a powerful kick, snapping the chains holding the bag and sending it flying. After only 3 days of training, his attributes had surged. Extreme boxing advanced to the intermediate level. Stepping cloud jump and springing leg gained additional strength. His sea iguana clone had accumulated 195 evolution points, just 5 points short of its first evolution. Reviewing his status window, Chen noted with pride, "From a traditional martial arts perspective, I should be at the peak of the Ming realm now." He recalled his father's teachings. Martial arts were divided into 3 realms: Ming, Dark, and Transformation. A Ming realm peak practitioner could effortlessly defeat 10 foes. Those who reached the Dark realm were first-rate experts, capable of overcoming 100 opponents, and often hailed from legendary families. The rarest were Transformation realm masters, grandmasters of myth, said to possess unbreakable bodies. A memory surfaced. As a child, Chen had once asked his father which realm he had attained. His father admitted to briefly entering the Dark realm, though his expression darkened at the question. When young Chen innocently asked if they belonged to a legendary family, his father stiffened and replied tersely, "No, just from Luotuan." He refused to elaborate. Back in the present, afternoon sunlight streamed into the apartment as Chen left the training room. He found the sea iguana sprawled on the sofa. It had grown noticeably larger over the past 3 days, and now needed only 5 more points to evolve. "One more meal, and you'll be ready," Chen said, hopeful. He prepared another lavish spread and fed it to the iguana. As the creature ate, its evolution points steadily climbed to 199. Eager, Chen reconnected their mental link. The moment the points hit 200, a system notification flashed. "Your clone, the sea iguana, has met the evolution requirements. Evolution will now begin. Suddenly, lightning-like energy surged through the iguana's left arm, triggering excruciating pain. Since Chen was still linked, he felt the same agony in his own left hand. Both collapsed, writhing, as the iguana's body underwent a violent metamorphosis. Spines erupted along its back. Its body lengthened and thickened. Dense, protective scales spread across its skin. Driven mad by pain, the iguana thrashed wildly, demolishing everything in its path. After several minutes, the torment subsided. Gasping on the floor, Chen was stunned by the intensity. He'd never imagined evolution could be so brutal. When he finally stood, he beheld the newly transformed sea iguana, now the size of a crocodile with formidable power. Curious, Chen ordered it to strike a punching bag with its tail. The force obliterated the bag, scattering debris across the room. Impressed, Chen nodded. Checking his status window, he discovered his own attributes had also surged. His constitution had doubled. Spirit increased by 2 points. External aura and chi perception had strengthened. Now, the sea iguana required 1,000 evolution points for its next stage. Chen pondered, was this boost due to his initial weakness, or would his constitution always double after each evolution? If the latter, the implications were terrifying. By traditional standards, he had entered the dark realm. A monumental feat. Activating his external energy projection, he marveled at the crimson aura radiating from his body. He was now a true martial arts expert. Testing further, he found that the iguana could mimic his aura, amplifying his astonishment. But before he could explore further, the iguana grew alert, staring at the door. Someone was knocking. Chen hadn't expected visitors. Deactivating his aura, he cautiously opened the door to find a muscular, angry-looking man. Yet the moment the stranger saw Chen, he began trembling. Even the residual energy was enough to unnerve him. Struggling to appear friendly, the man complained about noise from upstairs, asking if Chen was renovating. Feigning innocence, Chen apologized, explaining it was just training sessions. When the man peered past Chen, his fear spiked. The room looked utterly demolished, as if struck by an earthquake. Swallowing hard, he stammered a request for quieter training methods before hastily retreating to the elevator. Once alone, Chen exhaled in relief. The sea iguana crept out from hiding, having obeyed his command to stay concealed. Smiling, Chen acknowledged the need for greater caution in the future. After confirming that everything was in order and ensuring the muscular stranger had not discovered the sea iguana, Chen closed the door. Glancing at his now crocodile-sized clone, he realized keeping such a large creature indoors was no longer feasible. It was time to release it into the sea. Chen drove to the nearest beach, making sure the area was deserted before opening the car door to let the sea iguana out. Although it was a sea iguana, this was its first time experiencing the ocean in reality. Establishing a mental link, Chen guided the iguana's body into the water. Once submerged, he activated his energy sense, allowing him to discern countless marine creatures within a 10-meter radius. As he explored the underwater world, he spotted a 5-eyed fish swimming nearby. Shocked by its bizarre appearance, Chen decided to make it his first prey. Stealthily closing in, he launched an attack. Startled, the mutant fish darted into a hole on the ocean floor. Without hesitation, Chen followed. When the fish suddenly attempted a surprise counterattack, Chen struck first, sinking the iguana's sharp teeth into its stomach. After killing and devouring it, a system notification informed Chen that his clone had gained 10 evolution points, and his own physique had increased by 1. Chen was pleasantly surprised. Since the iguana's evolution, a normal meal would yield only 1 evolution point, yet this mutated fish had provided 10. It confirmed his suspicions that the world, with its recent unsettling news, was far from peaceful. Continuing his exploration, he encountered a 10-eyed fish, defeated it, and earned more evolution points. After several hours of hunting, Chen received a system message stating his clone had reached the daily cap of 100 evolution points, and could gain no more that day. He was amazed by the underwater scenery witnessed through the iguana's eyes. What appeared cold and dark to humans at night was actually vibrant and full of life to his clone. Though amphibious, the iguana still relied on lungs to breathe and needed to resurface occasionally. During his exploration, Chen discovered a large fissure in the ocean floor, leading to an underwater cave filled with air. Deciding it was a safe resting spot, he let the iguana settle there before disconnecting his mental link. The clone is settled now, he thought. Time for me to head back. On his drive home, Chen's attention was suddenly drawn to a solitary house in the middle of a forest. He was surprised anyone would live there. Just as he was about to pass by, he heard a distant plea for help. Relying on his enhanced hearing, he realized something was amiss. To avoid alerting potential wrongdoers, he continued driving, pretending not to have noticed. This caution proved wise. Inside the house, 2 thugs, one bald, one with blue hair, were watching Chen's car closely. They had kidnapped a girl, whose screams Chen had heard. A third thug, with black hair, struggled to keep the victim quiet. The bald thug kicked the black-haired one, scolding him. "I told you to watch her! Didn't you notice the cloth fell out of her mouth?" The black-haired thug defended himself. "It's pitch dark out here. How could I have noticed when we dragged her in?" Grudgingly, the bald thug acknowledged it wasn't entirely his subordinate's fault. Unbeknownst to them, Chen had overheard the call for help and taken note. While he continued driving, his mind was already strategizing how to handle the dire situation. The black-haired thug shoved a cloth back into the girl's mouth, threatening her to keep quiet, "or else I'll let my companions enjoy themselves tonight." The girl, terrified and helpless, had no idea her savior had already arrived. Chen approached the house on foot, ensuring the thugs wouldn't be alerted by a vehicle. Activating his energy sense, which worked like X-ray vision, he scanned inside, counting the occupants. 2 thugs drinking inside, a girl tied up with ropes, a third thug standing by the main door, snacking and scrolling on his phone. From the scene, Chen deduced this was likely a kidnapping or human trafficking operation. There were 3 men total, 2 armed with knives. He decided he must incapacitate them within a minute. Gathering all his energy, he smashed through the front door. Startled, the thugs drew their knives, but Chen gave them no chance to strike. He immediately kicked the black-haired thug in the stomach, sending him flying into a wall. The bald thug, cursing, leaped to attack Chen from behind. Chen spun around at lightning speed and struck the thug's chest with his elbow. The force shattered the man's ribs, sending him hurtling backward. The third thug, blue-haired, named Ning Fu, caught the bald thug before he hit the ground, telling him to catch his breath. Then, Ning Fu stepped forward, adopting a martial arts stance and announcing his technique, Yue Wang Fist. He demanded Chen reveal his own style. Chen took up the posture of the martial art his father had taught him, declaring, "Lu Tuan 8 extremities, boxing." Their battle commenced. Ning Fu launched the first move of Yue Wang Fist, Tou Lu Fist, aiming at Chen's face. Chen easily blocked the punch and pulled Ning Fu closer, attempting a face kick. Ning Fu blocked the kick with his leg and countered with Yue Wang Fist's second move. 2 horses joined Tang, landing a solid punch to Chen's face. Chen felt the strike's power and realized Ning Fu was no ordinary thug. As Chen staggered, Ning Fu seemed confident, but Chen managed to keep his footing. Now within range, Ning Fu hesitated momentarily, surprised that Chen was still standing. Seizing the opportunity, Chen unleashed the 8 extremities boxing's Iron Mountain Slam technique with his shoulder. The tremendous impact sent Ning Fu crashing to the ground. Yet, lying there, Ning Fu grinned. Finding the situation intriguing, he stood up, admitting he never expected to meet a true Lue Tuan 8 extremities disciple after coming down from the mountain. He praised the Iron Mountain Slam, saying it deserved its reputation. However, Chen shook his head, calling it a shame that a Yue Wang Fist practitioner had fallen to such a crooked path. Ning Fu sneered, mocking Chen's high-minded attitude. He spat out that Chen was just a student who didn't know better. In the real world, one had to do whatever it took to get ahead. With that, Ning Fu abandoned his martial techniques and attempted a dirty move, jabbing his fingers toward Chen's eyes. Chen reacted instantly, kicking Ning Fu's face and sending him sprawling. With all 3 kidnappers defeated, Chen's adrenaline subsided, and he slumped to the floor. He acknowledged the danger of battles between martial artists. Ning Fu's pressure far exceeded that of any number of muscular men. Looking at his fist, Chen realized his control over his own strength was still lacking, resulting in severe injuries to his opponent. He resolved to improve his precision in the future. With the thugs disabled, the girl, still tied and gagged, tried to get Chen's attention with muffled sounds. Chen freed her from the ropes. Terrified, she hugged him tightly. He comforted her, saying everything was all right now, and she shouldn't be afraid. Grateful but shaken, she thanked him. Once she calmed down, Chen handed her a phone and instructed her to call the police after he left. He told her to say she hadn't gotten a good look at him and didn't know who he was. The young woman, quite beautiful, nodded and agreed not to reveal his identity. 10 minutes later, the police arrived and surrounded the entire place. Officers stormed inside, ordering the criminals to put their hands up. They were shocked to find the 3 kidnappers already down, with only the victim standing there. The scene shifted to the security agency's police headquarters, where Officer Guanqing reported to her deputy chief. She explained that clear footprints were found on the broken door, based on the door being flung 3 meters away and the snapped axle. The force applied was at least 1,000 kigas. Guanqing showed the deputy chief photos from the scene. 2 kidnappers had died instantly, and the third was in a vegetative state due to a severe concussion. According to the victim, Lin Rongaya, her rescuer had worn a mask at night, so she couldn't identify him. The deputy chief was baffled. Even top boxers at their peak only managed around 800 kilos of force on a punching machine. Achieving over 1,000 kilos in a real situation was unheard of. Guanqing agreed, noting this man's strength was inhuman. Given the increasingly strange events lately, she said nothing could be taken for granted anymore. As they spoke, a sudden thunderclap echoed above the city. The deputy chief glanced out the window and muttered, "A storm is coming." He wasn't referring to the weather, but the dark forces threatening to disrupt the city's peace. Meanwhile, after rescuing the girl, Chen drove to a side street, his attention drawn to a small boat anchored nearby. 3 men disembarked, 2 shirtless thugs, and a well-dressed man with black hair who exuded a businesslike demeanor. One thug addressed the man as boss, and complained they had barely made 2 million from that sunken ship, yet the boss had already spent 1 million on some woman from Bald Tiger. He called it extravagant. The other thug agreed, saying it had taken so long to dig up the ship, and they'd barely made a profit. The black-haired man scoffed, and called them short-sighted. Did they even know who that woman was? Money wouldn't be an issue once they had her, he said confidently. His words brightened the thugs' moods. The boss then inquired about the shipping company setup. One thug assured him everything was arranged, a high-end office building, as requested. The other added that they'd hired the prettiest secretaries and front desk staff through a headhunting firm. The boss wouldn't be disappointed. The black-haired man smiled. With his underwater breathing ability, they'd recover treasures from sunken ships and make as much money as they wanted. "Stick with me, and you'll never starve," he said. Their conversation was interrupted when something moved in the trees behind them. Startled, the black-haired man drew a knife and shouted, "Who's there?" Chen stepped out from behind a tree, coolly remarking that he had seen many scumbags in his time. But the black-haired man before him was something special. Infuriated, the man lunged at Chen with his knife, shouting that Chen had a lot of nerve but wouldn't live long. Unbeknownst to him, Chen was a skilled martial artist. Focusing his energy, Chen delivered a powerful kick that shattered the ground, sending the man flying. As he landed, Chen swiftly disarmed him with a precise blow, then crushed his stomach with another kick, slamming him into a tree. The 2 remaining thugs stood paralyzed with fear. One stammered that it was impossible. Their boss had become superhuman after awakening his power, and could easily defeat 5 men. The other muttered in panic that they needed to escape. Before they could flee, Chen knocked them unconscious with precise strikes. Turning back to the black-haired man, Chen activated his mind control ability, locking eyes with him. He demanded to know the man's name and occupation. Under the influence, the man's pupils glowed purple as he obediently replied that his name was Jiang Chang-su, a smuggler who owned a ship. He revealed that a month prior, he had awakened the ability to breathe underwater, which he used to raid sunken ships and sell treasures to wealthy clients. Satisfied, Chen released his control. As the effects faded, Zhang clutched his broken hand in agony, crying out in confusion. Chen feigned ignorance, suggesting Zhang had injured himself accidentally. Nodding submissively, Zhang accepted the explanation, his perception altered by the mind control. Recognizing the effectiveness of his ability, Chen then dominated the unconscious thugs, finding their weaker minds easier to control. Later, aboard Zhang's ship, a bespectacled crewman questioned Chen's presence. Zhang immediately reprimanded him, declaring Chen their boss and demanding respect. The crew complied, greeting Chen deferentially. Zhang then ordered the man to prepare a transfer contract for the ship, which was swiftly completed. After signing the documents, Chen instructed the injured Zhang to accompany him to the hospital. The next morning, Chen resumed his training while his sea iguana hunted in the ocean. The iguana, a natural predator, devoured countless sea creatures, accumulating evolution points. As Chen trained in the gym, he noticed his own strength improving, a direct result of the iguana's progress. Determined, he vowed to grow stronger through both training and his clone's evolution. That afternoon, Chen finalized the ship transfer at the office, elated by the successful acquisition. He planned to send the sea iguana into deeper waters, aware that superhumans like himself existed, and that unknown dangers lurked in the ocean's depths. The following day, the ship ventured into the deep sea for fishing. Two of Jiang's former thugs, now under Chen's control, managed the nets. One remarked that fish were scarce lately, while the other speculated that large predators like sharks might be driving them away. Beneath the waves, a group of great white sharks circled. Chen's sea iguana, trailing the ship, soon encountered them. The moment the sharks attacked, one clamped its jaws around the iguana, only to be impaled by its spikes. The other sharks fled in terror, as the iguana devoured its prey, earning 10 evolution points. Through their mental link, Chen tasted the shark's surprisingly tender meat. Then, a system notification appeared. His clone had met the evolution requirement. Chen confirmed the evolution, and the iguana surfaced, its body writhing as lightning coursed through it. Simultaneously, Chen collapsed in the gym, sharing its agony. When he recovered, he checked his stats. Level up to 1, Constitution, 130, 13x in average persons. Spirit, 38. Traits, External Aura and Chi Perception, 280 EXP. Skills, 8 extremities. Boxing, Stepping Cloud Jump, Tan Leg Technique, all intermediate, 290 plus EXP. The sea iguana had evolved into a scale-armored spiny lizard, a ferocious beast on the path to becoming a beast lord. It now required 5,000 points for its next evolution and gained water affinity, enhancing its swimming speed to 70 km/h. Though pleased, Chen was slightly disappointed his constitution hadn't doubled as before, attributing it to his higher base stats. The next day, Chen contacted the bespectacled crewman, who reported that without Jiang's underwater breathing ability, treasure hunts were stalled. Chen assured him he could now handle it himself. Reviewing the database, Chen noted that shallow waters had been picked clean, but deep sea sites remained untouched. He and the iguana headed 25 kilometers southeast into the Yellow Sea. Thanks to their connection, Chen could now breathe underwater and sense his surroundings within 20 kilometers. Confident, he finalized preparations for his treasure hunt. Later, Chen treated himself to an expensive meal, nearly 3,000 yuan, on a pedestrian street. Though it drained a sixth of his savings, he remained optimistic. Soon, he would take over Yang's operations and live lavishly. For now, he savored a small taste of the wealth to come. On his way home, Chen noticed a girl lying unconscious on the ground with two men standing over her. The scene didn't sit right with him. As a righteous man, Chen raised his voice and demanded, "What are you doing?" With his growing strength and reignited passion for martial arts, Chen felt confident stepping in, as long as there wasn't a real threat. The thugs turned to him angrily. One barked, "What did you just say?" The other pulled out a knife and sneered, "Kid, get lost now and I'll pretend I didn't see you." Chen didn't want to fight. His intent was simply to scare them away. He released his aura, which manifested as a beast-like form, invisible to the human eye but overwhelming in pressure. The thugs froze in fear, confused by the sensation. One turned to the other and stammered, "Why does it feel like we're being stared down by a predator? Let's get out of here." Before they could flee, the woman they were harassing began to laugh mockingly. "Are you seriously scared? Are you even real men?" she jeered. Chen frowned, wondering if the woman had lost her mind. Her provocation made the thugs reconsider leaving. They exchanged glances, unwilling to let a woman think they were weak. Emboldened, one thug shouted, "There's no reason to fear him. He's just one guy." The other nodded in agreement. "Yeah, let's get him. This guy's too cocky." Chen sighed, frustrated. The situation had already been resolved, but now, thanks to the woman, a fight was unavoidable. Left with no choice, he assumed a martial arts stance. As the thugs charged, Chen delivered precise kicks to their stomachs, sending them flying. He had used only 10% of his strength. Anything more would have left them severely injured. Deciding to show mercy, he let them off with a warning. Terrified, the thugs scrambled to their feet and fled, calling Chen a demon straight out of hell. Once they were gone, the woman stood up, laughing like someone intoxicated. "You're amazing," she said, praising Chen's strength. Suspicious of her behavior, Chen wondered if she was under the influence of drugs. He immediately called the police, reporting her as a possibly compromised individual outside the Shangtang bar. While on the call, the woman approached him teasingly. "Why call the cops? Don't you think I'm pretty? Don't you want to take me home?" Chen ignored her, waiting for the authorities to arrive. A few minutes later, a group of officers appeared. One escorted the woman to their vehicle, while another took Chen's statement. Chen explained that he was out for a midnight snack when he encountered the situation. After thanking him, the police departed with the woman. With that matter resolved, Chen turned his focus back to his mission, locating a sunken ship. Using his connection to the giant lizard, he directed it to the coordinates provided by the glasses guy. As expected, the information was accurate. A sunken ship lay at the specified location. Activating his energy sensing ability, Chen began searching the wreckage. Though his current sensing range was limited to 20 meters, he soon struck gold. Literally, among the wreckage were solid gold bars. Chen immediately instructed the glasses guy to move the ship 3 kilometers east and prepare a crate. While working, another crew member asked the glasses guy, "Besides Chen Shu, does anyone else on the boss's team have underwater breathing abilities? Stop prying into the boss's secrets," the glasses guy snapped. Once the crate was ready, the sea iguana loaded the gold bars onto it. After retrieving the loot, Chen ordered the iguana to continue exploring the wreck. Among the debris, he noticed a strange piece of metal embedded in the ship's wall. When the iguana attempted to cut it, its claws, capable of slicing through standard metal, barely left a mark. Intrigued, Chen concluded it must be a special alloy and decided to take it back for further study. As the iguana surfaced with the alloy, a massive white snake-like fish ambushed it. The creature was enormous, with sharp teeth trying to tear into the iguana. Enraged, Chen thought, "Who do you think you are? You may be bigger, but you're no match for me." The sea iguana quickly overpowered the white fish, killing it effortlessly and devouring it. Chen smirked, noting that his clone's strength was truly unmatched in its domain. Later that night, Chen visited a deserted beach. Gazing at the rocks, he mused, "These reefs have been eroded by seawater for years, making them incredibly hard. This is the perfect place to test my strength." Clenching his fist, Chen struck a massive rock. The force of the impact reverberated through him, but thanks to his external shield absorbing most of the blow, and his bone density, nearly 20 times that of a normal human, he felt only mild soreness. Smiling, Chen flexed his hand as the slight discomfort vanished almost instantly, thanks to his body's exceptional recovery abilities. "I've come a long way, but there's still much further to go," he thought, determined to keep pushing his limits. Chen continued practicing his boxing on the massive rock. After his recent evolution, his physique had surpassed a strength level of 200. Though he hadn't fully tested his capabilities, he estimated his punches now carried a force of at least 3,000 lb, 1.5 tons. With the enhancement from his outer energy and the precision of his 8 extremities boxing technique, Chen knew he could punch straight through a person with ease. To test his full power, Chen unleashed a punch on the rock with all his strength. The result was as expected. The massive rock shattered into pieces with a single blow. Exhausted from the intense training, Chen collapsed onto the ground, catching his breath. He trained on this empty beach because his punching bag at home wasn't durable enough to withstand his strength. The park was also out of the question. Modern technology made it too easy for someone to record him and post it online, which could lead to unwanted attention and trouble. The secluded beach was his only sanctuary to train freely without prying eyes. As Chen looked at his hands, he noticed that the scrapes from his training had already healed. He marveled at his insane recovery ability. "Just a minute of rest, and I'm already fully healed," he thought in disbelief. While examining his recovery, the sea iguana returned with the chunk of black metal it had recovered. Chen inspected the metal and noticed its irregular shape, gleaming with a metallic luster. At first glance, it didn't seem extraordinary. But when he attempted to lift it, he was stunned. It weighed close to $200. The metal was heavy, tough, and resistant to damage. Even the sea iguana's claws, which could slice through regular metal, had struggled to scratch it. Chen thought this would be perfect for crafting a weapon. However, he knew his current skills weren't sufficient to forge a weapon worthy of the material. Setting the metal aside for now, he decided to deal with the gold bars first. Back on the ship, Chen asked the glasses guy about the loot. The glasses guy assured him that everything had been cleaned up and stored in the captain's cabin. He led Chen to the stash, where all the gold bars were neatly piled. The glasses guy, amazed at the sight, exclaimed, "I've never seen so much gold in my life. How much is this worth?" Chen examined the bars and noted that they lacked any markings, meaning they were privately minted. "We won't be able to sell these as antiques," Chen explained. The next day, after doing some research, Chen found a shop in bustling downtown that dealt in the black market. Upon entering, the receptionist greeted him warmly and asked, "Are you here to sell rings or necklaces?" Chen revealed the gold bars from his bag. "I'm selling these," he said. The receptionist, surprised by the quantity, asked him to follow her upstairs to meet the manager. The manager greeted Chen politely and asked for his name and the amount of gold he intended to sell. Chen introduced himself, opened his bag, and revealed the gold. Stunned by the sheer amount, the manager said, "We'll need to inspect the quality of these bars. Please wait a moment." While Chen waited on the sofa, the manager's staff got to work. After a thorough check, the manager returned and reported, "Your gold weighs a total of 11,250 grams. Since these bars are privately minted and not very pure, we can offer 400 wen per gram. Does that work for you?" Chen knew privately minted gold was harder to sell and agreed to the deal. After completing the necessary paperwork, Chen received a message confirming that 4.5 million wen had been credited to his account. As he left the shop and got into his car, Chen observed the people walking home from work or college, reflecting on his situation. He thought, most people my age are still hustling through college, while I've just made millions from one adventure. It feels surreal, considering I've been poor my entire life. With his newfound wealth, Chen decided his first purchase would be a new car. His current vehicle, with its low chassis, was terrible on bumpy coast roads. He drove straight to a luxury auto showroom, bringing the glasses guy along for advice. Together, they began looking for a suitable car for daily use. While they browsed, a black-haired man entered the showroom with a red-haired woman. Chen immediately recognized her. It was his ex-girlfriend. Back then, he had spent a fortune trying to win her over. But she abandoned him to chase wealth and status, choosing to live lavishly with rich men. The red-haired woman also spotted Chen and mocked him. Turning to her boyfriend, she said, "See that guy over there? That's the loser who used to chase after me." Her boyfriend laughed, sneering at Chen. "What's a broke college kid like you doing in a luxury car showroom?" he taunted. Hearing the black-haired boy's remarks, the glasses guy grew visibly angry and snapped, "Who are you calling broke?" Before things could escalate, Chen stopped him. "Don't waste your time on them," Chen said calmly. Seeing the glasses guy's anger, the black-haired boy smirked. "What, are we not allowed to speak the truth? Aren't you just a broke college student? This isn't a place you can afford." The red-haired girl tugged on her boyfriend's sleeve. "Don't waste time on him. Let's go look at cars." She walked over to a red luxury car and pointed it out to her boyfriend. "I want this one," she said confidently. Her boyfriend hesitated, visibly uncomfortable. The price tag on the car was astronomical, and although he liked to flaunt wealth to impress women, his spending allowance barely reached tens of thousands a month. "Let me take a closer look at it for you," he stammered, trying to buy time while inwardly panicking. Meanwhile, Chen was inspecting a white car. "This car has a high chassis and can carry heavy loads," he thought. "It meets all my needs." Turning to the saleswoman, he said, "I'll take this one. I'll pay in full." The saleswoman, surprised by his decisiveness, informed him, "This car costs 2.38 million yuan. Will you be paying by card?" Chen nodded. "Yes, I'll pay in full." Hearing this, the red-haired girl froze in shock. 238 million? She whispered to herself. Her boyfriend quickly reassured her. "He's just pretending. There's no way he has that kind of money in his account." She laughed in agreement. "Back then, he could barely afford instant noodles for weeks just to chase me. Now he's pretending to buy a luxury car? Pathetic." The black-haired boy walked over to Chen, sneering. "There's no need to put on a show, buddy. It'll only be embarrassing when your card gets declined." The glasses guy fired back. "Why don't you mind your own business? If Chen can afford the car, what will you do?" Smirking, the black-haired boy replied, "If he can afford it, I'll call him Dad right here. But if he can't, then he'll have to call me Dad." The glasses guy immediately accepted the deal. "Deal." The red-haired girl laughed mockingly. "He's bluffing. There's no way he can afford it." Minutes later, the saleswoman returned with Chen's card and handed him the car keys. "The car is yours now," she said politely. Chen thanked her and turned toward his ex and her boyfriend. The black-haired boy was stunned, unable to process what had just happened. The red-haired girl was equally shocked. "How did Chen get so rich?" she muttered. Confused, the glasses guy grabbed the black-haired boy by the collar and demanded, "Well, aren't you going to keep your word and call him Dad?" Chen intervened, stopping the glasses guy. "Let it go. Don't waste time on people like this," he said calmly. As they walked out, the glasses guy turned back and smirked. "You're lucky my boss is kind. If it were up to me, you wouldn't leave without calling him Dad." Embarrassed, the black-haired boy remained silent, while the red-haired girl was left speechless. As Chen drove off in his new car, the red-haired girl chased after him, shouting, "Chen, wait, hear me out." But Chen didn't stop. Watching the scene unfold, one saleswoman commented, she thought she found a rich guy, but she missed out on someone with real potential. Another agreed, adding, "That's just how people are. They only regret things after they've lost them." After leaving the showroom, Chen drove to Cloud's Edge restaurant, the city's premier spot for fine dining. Arriving in his luxury car, he was greeted respectfully by the staff. He was escorted to a private room, where a waitress handed him the menu and asked what he would like to order. Chen scanned the menu and selected several dishes, including a 5,088 yen Boston lobster and a 7,888 yen king crab. When the food arrived, 2 waitresses personally served him the dishes. The luxurious experience brought a smile to his face. Pricey, but worth it, he mused. After cooking so many meals for my lizard, it's time to enjoy the life of luxury myself. While enjoying his meal, a notification popped up on his phone. It was a message from his college advisor, reminding students that classes would resume in a week and attendance was mandatory. Seeing the message, Chen remembered that he was still a sophomore. Opening his status window, he reviewed his current stats. Constitution, 327. Spirit, 49. Talent, mind control. Traits, external aura and shy perception, experience, points. Increased skills, 8 extremities, boxing, stepping cloud jump and tan leg technique, all powered up. Companion, armored spiked lizard. Evolution. Points, 2160, 5000. Looking at the status screen, Chen realized that once classes began, he would have less time for his adventures. I need to earn more money quickly to help my lizard break through to the Shadow Realm, he thought, determined to make the most of his remaining time. A few days later, in the deep sea, swordfish, known as the fastest swimmers among fish, reached speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, approximately 97 kilometers per hour. However, Chen's sea iguana outpaced them with ease. After racing the swordfish, the sea iguana feasted on a delicious sailfish. Once it was full, Chen decided to resume his treasure hunting. As the sea iguana consumed the sailfish, Chen received a notification from his system. Plus 110 evolution points. Chen returned to scanning the seabed, using his heightened senses to detect objects dozens of kilometers away. Unfortunately, after days of searching, he had yet to find any shipwrecks. Frustrated by the lack of results, Chen noted strange changes occurring in the world around him. Could there be secret supernatural organizations involved, he wondered? With his newfound abilities, Chen resolved to act with greater caution. The next day, Chen visited a high-end office building in N City. Since Jiang Changsu had transferred the company to him, Chen hadn't had the opportunity to visit. He was impressed. The building was situated in the busiest area of the city. Jiang had clearly spared no expense in ensuring the company had an impressive presence. Chen's company, Tianlin Marine Industry, occupied several floors. Entering with his assistant, a bespectacled man, Chen noticed the receptionist, Nixin, greeting the assistant warmly. Though she didn't recognize Chen, the assistant instructed her to gather all the staff in the boss's office. A few minutes later, all the female employees assembled in Chen's office. The assistant introduced Chen, pointing to him and announcing, "This is your new boss, Mr. Chen." The staff, amazed, couldn't hide their surprise. Their new boss was young, handsome, and evidently wealthy. The assistant began introducing the team, and when he introduced Nikazin, the receptionist blushed as she greeted Chen. At that moment, a strikingly beautiful woman approached, carrying a cup of coffee. She was introduced as Su Lan Yu, Chen's personal secretary. Chen, engrossed in reviewing documents, barely looked up and told her to leave the coffee on the table. Despite being a shell company, Chen was surprised by the well-equipped office, which clearly cost hundreds of thousands to maintain monthly. He realized he would need to recover more shipwreck treasures to sustain the company's operations. Chen instructed his assistant to end the introductory meeting and have everyone return to work. Before leaving, he ordered the assistant to head back to the ship and monitor operations. The assistant acknowledged the command and left promptly. Chen knew that the mind control effect on his team was stable for now, but subconscious hypnosis wasn't foolproof. He needed to ensure minimal interaction between his staff and the outside world to avoid complications. Sipping his coffee while gazing out the window, Chen received a sudden system notification. 0.7 constitution points. Then, multiple notifications flooded in, using clones to hunt while relaxing and growing stronger. This is amazing, he thought. Chen connected his mind to his sea iguana, which was hunting fish. The iguana, now able to manipulate internal energy, easily hunted large prey. This time, it targeted a massive barracuda. While barracudas are typically around 2 meters long, this one measured 4 to 5 meters, with steel-like teeth and incredible speed. Without Chen's strong external force field, the encounter might have been dangerous. The number of fierce, mutated fish in the ocean seemed to be increasing. When the sea iguana devoured the barracuda, Chen noticed its flesh was distinctly different, packed with energy. A system notification appeared. Clone devours with effort and gains 190 evolution points. Host gains, 129 constitution points. The moment he received the notification, Chen felt his internal energy activate on its own. His body became noticeably more muscular as the changes took effect. Chen felt that something was off. He realized the mutated fish he had consumed was extraordinary. It had caused his muscles and bones to enhance at a rate 10 times faster than usual. Intrigued by its effects, Chen searched for more of the fish. Unfortunately, in the vast expanse of the ocean, it seemed to be the only one of its kind. Meanwhile, at Tinlin Marine Industries, the receptionist, Nikazin, turned to Sulan Yu and asked, "Do you think the boss has a significant other?" Sulan Yu smiled and replied, "Why are you asking? Planning to make a move on him." Another girl chimed in teasingly, "Nikizin, are you fangirling again?" Hearing this, Nikizin blushed in embarrassment as the team laughed. Someone interrupted their conversation. "Why are you all still here?" It was Chen, preparing to leave for the day. Sulan Yu greeted him with a smile. "We still have a few things to finish up, boss." Chen, with his sharp hearing, had already picked up on their chatter from the elevator, but chose to pretend he hadn't heard anything to avoid awkwardness. Smiling, he said, "Since everyone's working so hard, dinner's on me tonight." The team cheered, their excitement palpable. Chen took them to Cloud's restaurant, a luxurious venue. Nikazin couldn't help but admire Chen's 2 million car as they arrived. All the girls were struck by the opulent restaurant. A waitress approached to take their order, and Chen ordered for the group. The bill came to an astonishing 50,000, which Chen paid without hesitation, swiping his card as if it were nothing. The team was in shock. Who is our boss, they wondered. Which wealthy family does he belong to? He's throwing money around like it's pocket change. Seeing Chen's generosity and wealth, they all thought, with a boss like this, our future is bound to be bright. After dinner, Chen told them, "I have something to handle tonight. I'll arrange rides for everyone to get home." The team thanked him and enjoyed their meal together. After ensuring everyone got home safely, Chen drove to a deserted rocky shore. The cool sea breeze lifted Chen's spirits as he began practicing his boxing against the rocks. Despite his busy schedule, Chen hadn't neglected his training. His physique was now over 20 times stronger than that of an average person, with his punch strength exceeding 2 tons, and his external force field doubling it to nearly 5 tons. Chen's raw power was astonishing. However, as his strength grew, controlling it became increasingly difficult. His footing wasn't steady, and he repeatedly lost control. This made him realize the importance of continued training to master his newfound abilities. While immersed in his training, Chen noticed a boat in the distance. He was surprised to see people in such a remote location at this hour. A group of thugs on the shore was waiting to receive the boat. The leader of the group asked the thugs on the boat, "Don't you trust us by now? We've done plenty of deals together." The thug on the boat replied cautiously, "It's not about trust. The heat is on right now." He then added, "Same rules as always. Money first, then the goods." Hiding behind a rock, Chen observed the exchange carefully. He understood that this was a D-grade deal, but the thugs were armed, so he needed to proceed with caution. The receiver's men inspected the goods and confirmed to their boss, "Top-quality stuff." Satisfied, the leader handed over the money and shook hands with the boat thug, saying, "Pleasure doing business with you." As the boat prepared to leave, the leader warned his men, "Be careful. Things are tight lately." One of the men assured him, "Don't worry, boss. We only work through single channels. Even if something goes wrong, the goods won't be traceable." Confident that no one could catch them, the thugs relaxed, unaware that Chen was watching and coming for them. Chen moved with lightning speed, landing a precise punch on one thug's neck while kicking another at the same time. The thug's boss, stunned by Chen's sudden appearance, scrambled to pull out his gun. However, before he could aim or shoot, Chen closed the gap and delivered a devastating punch to the boss's face, sending him flying. In just 5 seconds, Chen had neutralized all 3 thugs, each succumbing instantly to the force of his blows. Chen didn't feel a shred of remorse. These men had abandoned their humanity long ago, and taking them down was, in his mind, a service to society. Out at sea, the thugs on the boat noticed something rapidly approaching them. It was Chen's sea iguana, barreling toward them at an incredible speed. Before the thugs could react, the iguana rammed the boat from below, splitting it in 2. The thugs, thrown into the water, were in utter shock. "What just hit us?" one shouted as panic set in. When they saw Chen's sea iguana, 2 meters long and resembling a sea monster, they screamed in terror, frantically swimming toward the shore while shouting, "There's a monster! Somebody help!" One by one, the sea iguana began hunting the fleeing thugs. Realizing there was no escape, one thug pulled out his gun, yelling, "We can't outrun it anyway, let's fight back! I don't believe it can dodge a bullet!" But the bullet harmlessly bounced off the iguana's tough exterior. Fear consumed the thugs as they saw their futile efforts. Before they could attempt anything else, the sea iguana attacked, swiftly taking them out. After finishing the job, the iguana grabbed the suitcase containing the goods in its jaws and returned to shore. Later that night, in his room, Chen opened the suitcase. It was filled with stacks of cash. One stack was worth 10 grand, and with 300 stacks inside, the total came to a staggering 3 million. Looking at the money, Chen thought, cash laid out in front of you feels so much more real than numbers on a bank card. The next morning, at a cafe, Chen sat with his secretary, Sulan Yu. All the men in the cafe were mesmerized by her beauty. Her cold, untouchable aura made her the dream girl for many. Yet Sulan Yu paid no attention to the stares. Instead, she walked over to Chen with some papers. "Boss, please sign these," she said. Hearing her address him as boss, the men around them felt a pang of jealousy. Is that her boss? He looks so young. Chen stood up, his demeanor serious. "Let's go back to the company. Notify everyone. Meeting time." Watching Chen's composed and commanding presence, people thought, this young man is as unshakable as a mountain. His presence is terrifying. Later, in the meeting room, Chen pointed at a graph and told his employees, "Handle every detail carefully, and you'll be the company's heroes. As long as the company's performance continues to rise, everyone will get a big bonus by year's end." As he was speaking, Chen received a voicemail from his school. The message informed him that today was the last day to register for classes, and that he was the only one left in his class who hadn't registered. Chen immediately sent a message to his teacher, apologizing and assuring them he would head over right away. Turning to his employees, Chen said, "I need to go register at school. Since there isn't much work left today, you can all leave early. Sulan Yu will handle any company matters while I'm gone." Nikazin, shocked, whispered, "The boss is still a student?" Another girl beside her added, "He's so composed. I thought he was some rich heir raised with perfect manners." The scene shifted to N University's campus. When Chen arrived in his luxury car, heads turned in astonishment. Students gathered, whispering about his arrival. "Is that Chen?" one student said, recognizing the car. Another replied, "Do you know how much that car costs?" "Over 2 million. The news spread rapidly across the campus, and soon, a video of Chen arriving in his car was posted on the university's forum with the caption, "On the last day of new student registration, a tall, rich, handsome guy shows up in a car worth over 2 million. The comment section quickly filled with reactions. "Is he single? I need to know which department he's in. Forget it, girls. Someone like that is out of our league. I bet he's from some powerful family." Chen, unaware of the commotion he had caused, parked his car and headed straight to the registration office. A student from Chen's class recognized him and commented, "Isn't that Chen Shu? He got so handsome over the summer." Another student replied, "Who cares how handsome he is? He's driving a car worth 2 million. His family must be billionaires." Meanwhile, a blonde-haired girl in revealing clothes was scrolling through the university's campus forum when she saw Chen's photo. She thought, he looks so familiar. Especially those eyes, black and white like stars, radiating sharp brilliance. As she read through the comments, she noticed one that said, "He's not a freshman. He's a sophomore in the finance department. He's starting his junior year now. His name's Chen Shu." Surprised, the girl thought, "Chen is in the finance department? He's in the same year as me." After completing his registration, Chen was heading home, deep in thought. My body and strength are improving so quickly, he realized. But I only know 8 extremities, cloud steps, and tan leg techniques. I need to learn new skills to better control my power. While walking, Chen saw some students practicing martial arts. He thought, someone like that, I could squash them with a single slap. But he understood that flashy moves weren't for him. If I want control, I just need to keep training. Instead of heading home, Chen went to Longang Steel Company. At the reception, he told the receptionist, "I'd like to custom order some steel, about 100 tons or more." The receptionist was stunned but maintained professionalism. "Please follow me to the VIP lounge while I contact our sales manager." Chen waited in the lounge until the manager arrived. Greeting Chen, the manager asked, "What kind of steel would you like to order?" Chen explained, "I need a steel pillar, 2 meters in diameter and 5 meters tall, and a few steel blocks weighing 1, 5, 10, and 20 tons each." After calculating, the manager replied, "The total weight is approximately 200 tons. The estimated cost is around 700,000, but the final price will depend on the finished product." "That's fine," Chen said. "Let's sign the contract." The next morning, at Jiang Changsu's makeshift dock, Chen's assistant, the bespectacled man, showed him a large building. "This entire area is your warehouse," the assistant explained. Chen nodded in approval. "You can head back. I'll look around on my own." The assistant left, and Chen wandered through the warehouse. Suddenly, he received a system notification. "Your clone has gained 8 evolution points through diligent eating. You have gained 0.8 constitution points." Reflecting on his progress, Chen thought, "There's Ming Dark Transformation and Beyond Transformation. I haven't even reached the transformation stage yet. There's still a long way to go." Looking at the warehouse, he thought, "Once the steel pillar is set up here, this will be my training ground. But the maximum evolution points per day are capped at 100, so I'll need at least one more day to evolve my sea iguana. Compared to the giant lizard's progress, my body still feels too slow," Chen thought, frustrated. Meanwhile, the police had arrived at the scene where Chen had taken down the thugs the previous night. One officer recognized the receiver thug, Luo Ho, known as Big Boss Luo in the underworld. Luo Ho, who owned a bar and commanded over a dozen lackeys, had his right hand nearly severed by a blunt weapon wielded with immense force. Beside him lay Iron Lao Tzi, whose chest had been crushed, killing him instantly. The police concluded that all 3 men had been killed within a minute by the same individual. Who could have such strength and speed? They wondered. While the police captain was examining the bodies on the shore, he received a wireless message. Another body had been found at sea. Back at Tianlin Marine Industries, Chen was relaxing in a massage chair when his secretary, Su Lan Yu, entered. "Boss," she said, "the company has no work every day. Everyone's just playing around. Shouldn't we hand out some flyers or something?" Chen dismissed the suggestion with a calm smile. "There's no need. Business is like fishing. You just wait for the fish to bite." Su Lan Yu thought, "Even though you're a rich kid, boss, won't we go bankrupt like this? How can we wait for fish to bite if no one knows about us?" Her thoughts were interrupted by Nikizan entering the office. "Boss, someone's here to see you. They said they've got a business deal to discuss." Hearing this, Su Lan Yu was shocked. Did someone really come with money after all? A few minutes later, Nikizan led a man in a white suit into the meeting room. As soon as he entered, the man asked, "Where's Jiang Laoda?" The former boss, Chen, replied, "Jiang Laoda and his people are under me now." Impressed, the man said, "You actually managed to bring Jiang Laoda to your side." Introducing himself, he added, "I'm Wang Tianhua." Chen greeted him with a smile. "Boss Wang, please sit down. Let's talk." Su Lan Yu offered, "I'll make some tea," and Chen nodded for her to proceed. Once seated, Wang said, "I've got a centuries-old sunken ship worth at least tens of millions. Can you make it happen?" With confidence, Chen replied, "Once we retrieve the goods, how do you plan to split them?" Wang said, "Since I'm providing the map, I'll take 70% and you'll get 30%. That's the standard rate, even with international teams." Hearing this, Chen responded calmly, "Then you should find an international team instead." Wang was taken aback but kept his composure. "What's your suggestion then?" Chen replied, "At least a 50-50 split, otherwise forget it." Wang hesitated but knew that with current laws, private salvage was nearly impossible. Chen was his best shot. After a moment he asked, "Are you sure you can pull it off?" Chen confidently said, "Guys like Jiang Laoda? I have plenty under me. If you're unsure, Boss Wang, you can come along and see for yourself." Wang nodded in agreement and extended his hand. 50-50 then. Pleasure working with you." Chen shook his hand firmly. "Pleasure working with you as well." Meanwhile, at the police headquarters, the captain was investigating the bodies found on the coast and in the sea. He was shocked to see exaggerated claw marks on the corpses. Unable to fathom what kind of creature could have claws that large. Could it be some kind of abnormal beast? He wondered. Logging into the confidential internal system, the captain reported the multiple deaths, noting that 4 individuals at sea were suspected to have been killed in a beast attack. He attached a confidential file and soon received a reply from his superiors. Professionals will investigate the case. At Chen's company, the massive iron pillar he had ordered finally arrived. Su Lan Yu stared at the towering structure in awe. "Boss," she asked curiously, "what's this huge iron pillar for?" Chen replied casually, "It's a sea-calming pillar. It'll be buried at the pier to stabilize the waters and hold back the sea dragon kings." Su Lan Yu was amazed by his response. He even knows about this? Boss really is extraordinary. After paying for the pillar, Chen checked his account balance. It was down to 321,800. Money just flies away, he thought. Now I'm left with so little. Later that day, Chen drove to the Bixie Garden complex where Su Lan Yu lived. She stepped out of the car and said, "Boss, sorry to trouble you again. Why don't you come upstairs for some water? Her words carried a subtle hint, but Chen politely declined. I have something else to do soon, he said before driving off. As he left, Su Lanyu flushed with embarrassment. How could I be so bold to say something like that? She grew even more flustered, remembering her underwear was still lying around on the sofa. Chen had declined the invitation because he had accidentally snapped his chopsticks during dinner earlier. I still need more practice controlling my strength. Instead of going home, he headed to the rocky shoreline to train. He practiced punching the rocks, each strike echoing with immense force. However, he knew his power was still far from perfect. I need to achieve mastery to fully control my abilities, he thought, releasing his internal energy. Chen noticed that his aura shield now extended up to 30 meters, allowing him to sense the movements of the wind and grass around him. 3 days later, Chen connected with his sea iguana, which was devouring a red-eyed mutated fish. The fish granted it 210 evolution points and 21 constitution points. After eating, the sea iguana followed Wang Tianhua's ship. When the ship slowed down, Chen understood they were close to their target. Wang called, "Boss Chen, my other crew has already arrived. When should we begin?" "Tonight," Wang replied. Chen resumed his training, gaining 15 aura control experience points. With aura enhancement, his strength multiplied significantly. That night, Wang called again. "I don't see your other crew yet. They're already underwater," Chen replied calmly. "Just tell me the location." Impressed, Wang gave the coordinates. 200 meters to the left of his ship at a depth of 7,800 meters. Chen connected with his sea iguana and quickly scanned the area. However, there was nothing at the given location. "Boss Wang," Chen said, "I've scanned within an 800-meter radius, and there's nothing there." Wang was stunned. "You scanned that deep in just 20 minutes? Wang's secretary checked the data and concluded, the location must have shifted over hundreds of years. Try moving about a kilometer east. Wang apologized and asked Chen to check the new location. Leading his sea iguana eastward, Chen activated his external energy to scan the area. This time, he found it. A centuries-old sunken ship. Chen smiled, thinking, I'm going to get rich. He loaded the loot onto a ladder, and Wang's men pulled it out. After examining the items, Wang's secretary reported, 8 pieces are broken, and 3 are intact. The estimated value is about 30 million, but if sold privately, we could get another 20 million. Wang called Chen. Did you hear that, buddy? That's the situation. Chen replied, Great, I'll leave the rest to you, just collect the money. A few days later, Wang returned with the earnings. The loot's total value came to 23 million, he told Chen. We each get 11.5 million. Would you like to count it? Chen waved him off. No need, I trust you. Wang laughed heartily. You're a straightforward guy, Chen. Next time we have a sunken ship, we'll be sure to contact you. As Chen surveyed the substantial amount of money before him, he thought to himself, the financial problem is resolved, but my strength remains inadequate. I need to train until I can withstand sniper bullets and grenades before considering riskier moves. The next day at Tianlin Marine Industries, Chen arrived at the office, where Nikizine informed him, Boss, someone submitted a resume yesterday. They claim they can bring in 200 fishing enthusiasts every month for a salary of $50,000. Chen asked her to show him the resume. After reviewing the highlights, he noticed that the applicant was a member of the Fishing Association and appeared to have extensive industry connections. However, Chen quickly identified it as a scam. Reject it, he instructed. This person is clearly a fraud. Curious, Nikizine inquired. Boss, why haven't you been to the office these past few days? Chen casually replied. I had a major project to handle and made a few million in the process. Amazed, Nikizine exclaimed. Boss, that's incredible. Smiling, Chen reminded her. Didn't I promise to treat everyone once the project was completed? Tonight, we're going to Yunshang Tianyai to celebrate. Hearing this, Nikizine jumped with excitement. Meanwhile, another employee standing nearby thought, this workplace is amazing. Minimal workload, great pay, and the boss treats us so well. It's a far cry from my friend's company, where the manager even tried to harass her. She couldn't help but wonder, if the boss ever made a move on me, would I say yes? That evening, Chen treated his employees to dinner at Yunshang Tianyai. During the meal, Nikizine remarked, I had no idea sea fishing was so lucrative. Just a few days of fishing trips, and you've made millions. Chen smiled. I got lucky and caught a bluefin tuna. Just one fish is worth hundreds of thousands. As the team relaxed, a man approached Chen and politely asked, Are you Mr. Chen, the owner of Tianlin Marine Industries? The man introduced himself as Li Tianrui, Deputy General Manager of Tian Hong Group and a close associate of Wang Tianhua. Surprised by this unexpected encounter, Chen listened as Li Tianrui explained that he wanted to organize a deep-sea fishing trip and proposed a potential partnership. That sounds interesting, Chen replied. As long as it's profitable, I'm open to collaboration. Let's discuss this at my office tomorrow. Before leaving, Su Lanyu handed manager Li Chen's business card. Li accepted it and said, "I'll see you tomorrow." After Li left, one of the employees commented, "I didn't expect him to be so young." Noblesse asked, "Is Tianhong Group really that influential?" Her colleague responded, "Their chairman is worth tens of billions. Far richer than anyone in N City. Given that manager Li shares the same surname, he's likely a relative." Noblesse was astonished, while Su Lanyu reflected on the coincidence of dining alongside someone from such a powerful family. Later that evening, while remotely exploring the ocean through his sea iguana, Chen discovered two massive fish. Amazed by the coincidence, he thought, "I was just talking about a fish worth 10 million, and now I found two." Moments later, his sea iguana devoured one of the fish and transported the other to the warehouse. Staring at the enormous catch, Chen mused, "A fish worth over 10 million, yet its meat isn't particularly remarkable. Still, it's practically money swimming in the ocean." All he needed now was a buyer. The following day, while training with 2-ton dumbbells, Chen received a call from Su Lanyu. "Young Master Li has been waiting at the office for some time," she informed him. "I'm on my way," Chen responded, and promptly headed to Tianlan Marine Industries. During their meeting, manager Li revealed, "I've acquired the exact location of a shipwreck." Chen, intrigued, asked, "With the immense wealth of Tianhong Group, why are you personally interested in shipwrecks?" Manager Li smiled. "No one ever thinks they have too much money," he said. After negotiating the terms, they agreed on a 50-50 split of the recovered goods. Chen noticed how easily manager Li agreed to the arrangement and suspected there was more to his motives. However, he chose not to address it directly and shifted the topic. "Do you know anyone involved in high-end seafood restaurants? I recently caught a 4-meter bluefin tuna." Manager Li appeared impressed. "Even bluefin tuna is within your reach? That's incredible," he remarked. Taking out his phone, manager Li said, "Actually, I do know someone who owns a seafood restaurant. How about we grab lunch there? I'll introduce you." Later, after their meeting with the restaurant owner, Chen returned to his warehouse. The restaurant owner eagerly stepped out of his car and rushed inside to inspect the fish. Smiling, Chen said, "Don't rush. The fish isn't going anywhere. It's right over there." A worker carefully examined the fish and reported to the restaurant owner, "The quality is impeccable. Every aspect meets A-grade standards." Impressed, the restaurant owner exclaimed, "Mr. Chen, this fish is truly top-notch. Since we're all friends here, how about a flat price of 7 million? What do you think?" Chen agreed to the deal, considering the price fair. His secretary, Su Lanyu, was astonished. "A single fish sold for 7 million? It's unbelievable," she remarked. After receiving the payment, Chen decided to celebrate. He took Su Lanyu to the Marriott International Shopping Mall, saying, "Since we had a great haul today, it's time to splurge a little." Su Lanyu was in awe as they arrived. The mall was a gathering place for the world's top luxury brands. Chen went on a shopping spree, buying various high-end items. Observing him, Su Lanyu thought, "This is the epitome of indulgence. The boss earns money far too easily." Meanwhile, the mall staff were delighted, thinking a big spender had arrived. After their shopping trip, Chen returned to his dock warehouse, moving all the purchased items inside. Su Lanyu couldn't believe how much he had spent. "Boss, your watch alone is worth 2 million, and you've bought over 2 million worth of luxury goods for me as well," she exclaimed. Inside the warehouse, Chen mentioned, "I want to buy a villa. It needs to be big and spacious, preferably in a quiet location. Something around 30 million should suffice. Keep an eye out for me, will you?" Su Lanyu nodded and left for the day. Once alone, Chen connected to his sea iguana. Almost immediately, he noticed 2 massive submarines passing by. He sighed in disappointment, thinking, "I'm not strong enough yet. Otherwise, I'd tear those submarines apart." As he roamed the deep sea, Chen discovered a sea cave. At the entrance, he spotted massive claw marks, which set off alarms in his mind. "There's something dangerous down there," he thought, and decided to avoid it. No need to take unnecessary risks. Unbeknownst to him, the creature inside the cave was a giant crab. The moment it noticed Chen's sea iguana, it emerged and launched an attack. Chen maneuvered quickly, dodging the assault while warning, "Don't think I'm easy to mess with." As the crab attacked with its enormous claws, Chen realized its power was far greater than the mutated ribbonfish he had encountered earlier. The monster's force exceeded 10 tons. The sea iguana used its agility to evade the relentless strikes. But now it was Chen's turn to retaliate. Channeling his internal energy to its fullest, Chen dodged the crab's claws and delivered a powerful blow to its main body. The crab collapsed instantly, lifeless. Staring at the creature's massive form, Chen thought, "This big guy won't be finished in one go. I'll need to absorb it slowly." As the sea iguana began devouring the giant crab, Chen disconnected from it and started researching reports on unusual marine phenomena over recent years. He couldn't shake the concern growing within him. The giant ribbonfish, the mutated triggerfish, and now this enormous crab, all hint at something extraordinary. Chen was increasingly certain that the world was undergoing a significant transformation. While searching online, he came across a report about an M-country nuclear submarine that vanished at a depth of 600 meters in the Pacific, allegedly attacked by an unidentified giant sea creature. Further digging revealed another case. A nuclear submarine in the Arctic collided with an underwater iceberg, killing all 127 crew members. Both incidents had occurred within the past 2 years. Chen noticed a disturbing pattern. The deeper the sea, the more formidable these unknown creatures seemed to become. Meanwhile, his sea iguana continued feasting on the giant crab. A system notification popped up. You have received 290 evolution points and 29 base body stats. After the meal, Chen observed that the sea iguana's body had grown to a massive 18 meters. Furthermore, Chen's own physical stats had increased significantly, with his bone structure, muscle strength, and overall physique reaching an entirely new level. As he practiced boxing, Chen found that punching an iron pole no longer caused him any pain. His newfound strength left him marveling. Not even a handgun can scratch me now. With this natural armor and my reaction speed, ordinary bullets wouldn't even leave a dent. The next day, Chen decided to visit the Xinhua bookstore to purchase some books. The world isn't as simple as I once thought, he mused. Continuous learning is always the right choice. While browsing, a girl noticed him and whispered to her friend, "Look at how handsome he is." Her friend teased, "Then go ask for his contact info." Embarrassed, she hesitated, and ultimately did nothing. After spending some time at the bookstore, Chen returned home, where he retrieved 2 martial arts books his father had given him. His father always said, "Continuous learning is the key to improvement." Chen went to his warehouse to practice the techniques. Despite his progress, he realized that mastering Bajiquan and Shinguquan, though seemingly straightforward, was no easy task. While practicing, his phone rang. It was Manager Li. "Mr. Chen, we've arrived at the site," Manager Li said. "All right," Chen replied. "Send me the coordinates, and my team will be underwater within half a day." A few hours later, Chen connected his mind to the sea iguana and reached the coordinates provided by Manager Li. Upon arrival, he spotted a box filled with gold. Excited, Chen called Manager Li. "We've found gold, and some shattered porcelain." Hearing this, Manager Li asked, "Did you find a special box? If you do, everything else on the shipwreck is yours." Chen agreed and began searching. The gold alone was worth over 20 million, but after a few minutes, Chen discovered a small, unique-looking box. When he opened it, however, all he found was a pile of black mud. Curious but unconcerned, Chen handed the box to Manager Li. Eagerly, Manager Li opened it, but his expression turned to despair when he saw the contents. "The elixirs! They're supposed to be here!" he exclaimed, tears in his eyes. The box that once held priceless treasures now contained only mud. Meanwhile, on the coastline, police discovered several dead bodies. A forensic officer reported to the deputy chief, "Just like the previous victims, all their blood is gone, and their muscles are dried out like jerky, but the time of death was only about 10 hours ago." The deputy chief frowned. "All the victims are thugs, physically strong and with no family ties. Something doesn't add up. Write up a report and shut down all entertainment venues in the city immediately. We'll wait for higher-ups to investigate." Despite their efforts, the killings continued. Later that night, more men were found dead, their blood drained and their bodies desiccated, just like the others. The mystery deepened, and the city grew increasingly tense as an unknown terror lurked in the shadows. The deputy chief was shocked to discover more deaths despite all entertainment venues being shut down. He couldn't comprehend how 4 more people had died under these circumstances. Days passed, yet the mysterious killings continued. Meanwhile, Chen continued his intense training in the warehouse. After several days of practice, he made significant progress in mastering Bajiquan and Shinguquan. Upon completing his training, a system notification appeared. You have comprehended a new martial art technique. Please name it. Chen decided to call it Explosive Fist, as it combined Bajikwan's 8 extreme stance with Shingukwan's half-step Benkwan. 1 step, 1 explosion. Fists like cannonballs, he thought. Elsewhere, a fishing boat was operating in the deep sea. The owner was ecstatic, having finally caught a large haul after tirelessly chasing the school of fish. He remained cautious, though, as the investment for this venture had been enormous, with a single fishing net costing millions. Suddenly, alarms began ringing. A worker reported that there was a hole in the middle of the net, and the fish were escaping. Shocked, the owner ordered the crew to pull the net up quickly. Moments later, the worker informed him that the sonar detector showed nothing, but the net wouldn't budge. Chen's sea iguana was inside the net, consuming dozens of fish with each bite. Chen, connected to the sea iguana, was thoroughly satisfied with the feast. He wasn't worried about being detected, knowing that his water affinity rendered sonar detectors useless. After eating hundreds of fish, Chen instructed, "Time to head home now that I'm full." The sea iguana swam away, leaving the owner and crew to retrieve their damaged net. They were horrified to find a massive hole in it. The owner broke down, lamenting, "Why are all my nets destroyed and my fish gone? What kind of monster or divine being could be behind this?" That evening, while Chen was relaxing by the dockside, he received a call from Manager Li. "I'm heading back to N City," Li said. "To show my gratitude, I'll take you to a great place tonight." Chen laughed and replied, "If young Master Li invites me, I can't refuse." That night, Chen accompanied Manager Li to the Mangluo Elegant Pavilion, a prestigious establishment. Upon arrival, a beautiful woman in traditional Chinese attire welcomed them warmly. Manager Li asked her, "Has anyone booked the Yunxiao Hall?" Smiling, she replied, "It's always reserved for you." The Yunxiao Hall was a lavish and exclusive space, filled with exquisite decorations and an array of stunning women. Some danced gracefully to entertain them, while others stood by, ready to attend to their needs. Taking in the luxurious atmosphere, Chen mused, "No wonder kings neglect their duties. Places like this are perfect for indulgence." After spending the evening enjoying the ambiance, Chen left the pavilion and headed home in his car. However, as he drove, he noticed someone following him at high speed. His internal energy activated, heightening his senses. Chen realized that the aura of his pursuer felt eerily familiar. "This reminds me of the night I was being stalked by that giant lizard," he thought, smiling to himself. "Is it a monster or a ghost?" The thought excited him. It had been a while since he'd had a proper challenge. As Chen sped along, a luxury car approached him, and the couple inside called out, "Do you want to spar with us?" Annoyed, Chen ignored them. He suspected that the one following him might stop if too many people got involved. To shake them off, Chen accelerated, making a sharp and dangerous turn toward the seacoast. Seeing his reckless maneuver, the couple halted their car, shocked. "Is he trying to kill himself?" they wondered aloud. After leaving the couple behind, Chen didn't slow down, continuing his high-speed drive toward the seacoast. At such a speed, even the fastest car couldn't keep up with him. However, Chen was surprised to see that the one following him was still close behind. This isn't an ordinary pursuer. When Chen reached the seaside, where no one else was around, he stopped his car and stepped out. He called out, "Come out. I'm not a bad guy." To his surprise, a girl emerged from behind a tree. It was the same woman who had welcomed him and Manager Li at the Mangluo Elegant Pavilion. Smiling, she said, "What a funny way to speak, big brother. I was just bathing by the sea, and someone took my clothes. Could you fetch me something to wear?" Chen smirked. "You want clothes? Sure, I'll get you some right now." Without hesitation, he charged toward her and delivered a full-power punch to her face. However, what he saw behind the tree shocked him. The girl's body dissolved into a fog. When the fog cleared, a terrifying female monster emerged. Noticing Chen's strong and rich life force, the monster immediately attacked. "I really want to eat you," she snarled. Surprised by the sudden assault, Chen dodged and asked, "What are you?" The monster replied with a laugh, "I'm human too. Just a more perfect version. Eating you will be like consuming hundreds of healthy, energetic people. It'll be enough to complete the first stage of my evolution." To Chen's shock, the monster used internal energy similar to his own, and launched a series of attacks. Chen evaded them with quick movements, circling behind her. Smirking, he said, "You want to eat me? Let's see if you've got what it takes." The monster, startled by Chen's speed, couldn't anticipate what came next. Chen unleashed a full-power punch, enhanced with his internal energy, striking her with devastating force. The impact destroyed the ground around them and sent the monster flying. She crashed to the ground, severely injured, unable to comprehend how Chen, who lacked the aura of an awakened being, could possess such power. Desperate, the monster tried to escape by hiding among the trees. Chen, however, began systematically destroying every tree. Cornered, she fused her body with rocks for protection, but Chen noticed that each time he attacked her attachments, her aura weakened. Recognizing this as her weakness, Chen used it to his advantage. After a relentless battle, the monster collapsed on the ground, clinging to life. Chen stood over her. Fusing with tree trunks and rocks is a clever survival tactic, but you ran into the wrong opponent, he said. He offered her a deal. Answer a few questions, and I'll give you a quick death. The monster laughed weakly. Do I look like someone afraid of dying? She gazed at the moonlit sky. What a beautiful moonlight. It's a shame I won't see it again. But that's fine. I've already avenged myself, she revealed. If I had just one more month, I could have completed my shadow transformation. By then, even a war god wouldn't scare me. But instead, I ran into someone like you in a plain old city. With those final words, her body turned to dust and disappeared as she perished. Chen received a system notification. You have killed a corruptor and gained 10 attribute points. Confused, Chen wondered what a corruptor was and why it awarded him attribute points. Another notification followed, explaining, attribute points can enhance skills, strengthen weapons, and improve abilities. They can also unlock special abilities like lightning, ice, fire, and more. Realizing the potential, Chen smiled. With these attribute points, my sea iguana could truly become a real-life Godzilla. Chen returned to his warehouse and began researching corruptors and awakeners, but he found no relevant information. He concluded that the authorities had likely blocked access to such details. Undeterred, he thought, I may be too weak now, but once my physique surpasses 10,000, no one will be able to stop me. While deep in thought, another system notification appeared, prompting him to choose an element to enhance. The options included wind, fire, water, earth, lightning, light, and dark. Since his current physique was insufficient, only a basic element could be selected. Chen immediately chose lightning, as he had already decided beforehand. Using the attribute points, Chen acquired lightning mastery and gained +1 mental stat. Excited, he tested his new ability and found he could generate small sparks of thunder between his fingers. Though it was only a beginner-level skill, Chen was thrilled and embraced his progress. Checking his status window, Chen noted the following. Level 1. Physique, 465. Mental Control, 57. Techniques. External Chi, Beginner. Key Sense, Beginner. Skills. Collapsing Punch, Beginner. Sky Step, Intermediate. Spring Kick, Intermediate. Abilities. Lightning Mastery, Beginner. Attribute Points, 0.0. He also observed the status of his clone, the scaled thorn lizard, which had evolved twice. It was already a mature beast, aiming to become a beast lord. Its current stats included evolution, points, 3,190, 5,000, abilities, observation, hockey, armament hockey, talents, water affinity, lightning master. Seeing the potential for improvement, Chen was intrigued by the fact that even lightning mastery had experience points and could be improved through training. Later, Chen connected to his sea iguana and noticed a huge fish in the distance. The iguana attacked the fish with incredible speed, and to Chen's amazement, the attack carried traces of lightning power. After being hit by the sea iguana's lightning attack, the giant fish died instantly. It was another mutated sea beast, no less dangerous than the giant spider Chen had encountered previously. When the sea iguana consumed the fish, it gained a staggering 980 evolution points. Chen was astonished to realize that the sea iguana now possessed lightning mastery, which was even stronger than his own. Meanwhile, at the airport, the police deputy chief was receiving 2 agents from the Special Affairs Bureau. A man in a black suit introduced himself as Hang Junfeng and expressed his gratitude for the deputy chief's cooperation. The other man, dressed in a white suit, introduced himself as Nangong Jian, the lead investigator for Case 907. Take us to the body, Nangong Jian instructed. The deputy chief led them to the mortuary and pointed to the corpse. This person died last night. It's the only body we found, but for the past 4 days, 4 people have been mysteriously dying every night. Hang Junfeng, the man in black, activated a spiritual aura and directed it at the corpse. To the shock of the deputy chief, the monster aura that killed the man appeared briefly before vanishing entirely. Nangong Jian observed this and remarked, "The killer is dead." Surprised, Hang Junfeng asked, "Are you certain?" Meanwhile, Chen was at his warehouse practicing his techniques. Despite his rapid power growth, he struggled to control it. He recalled how, just last night, when dropping off Nikizin, she had invited him upstairs for tea. Chen had politely declined, citing prior plans. He couldn't bring himself to accept the invitation. He feared breaking her couch just by sitting or, worse, accidentally harming her. After completing his practice, Chen decided to look for a new home. The next day, a broker showed him a villa and explained its features. Main building, 560 square meters. Front yard, 70 square meters. Backyard, 200 square meters. Pool hall, 80 square meters. The broker added that the villa was fully furnished with furniture worth over $1 million, and the total price was $34 million. Chen offered $25 million, promising to pay in full. As he prepared to transfer the money, his phone rang. The caller sounded frantic, pleading for help, saying they had seen a monster. The call ended abruptly, leaving Chen surprised and concerned. On a rooftop in N City, Hang Junfeng and Nangong Jian surveyed the area. There's been no unusual activity since last night. The corruptor is truly dead. But it's strange. Such a semi-ethereal being shouldn't have been something a normal person could handle, Hang commented. He turned to Nangong Jian. Should we stay and investigate further? We might as well check out the city's bustle while we're here. Nangong Jian dismissed the idea. Use this time to train. When the apocalypse hits, you don't want to be cannon fodder. Apocalypse? Hang asked, startled. Our professor predicts the next spatial fluctuation will be 10 times stronger than 20 years ago. Nangong Jian explained. The most urgent task is to strengthen our capabilities across the board. Only through preparation can we repay the country for nurturing us. While exploring the deep sea through his sea iguana, Chen discovered a valuable find. However, earlier disturbances had stirred up too much sand, causing several porcelain items to break. Frustrated, Chen surfaced and went to a cafe to research the value of his haul. To his delight, he found that one Song Dynasty porcelain piece alone could be worth millions, possibly even tens of millions. Unfortunately, his carelessness had destroyed several pieces that could have been worth over 100 million altogether. While Chen was researching, a commotion broke out. A waitress was shouting at a black-haired customer, accusing him of grabbing her. The man retorted, "Don't accuse me of something I didn't do." Then he smirked and added, "But since you've accused me, should I grab something for real now?" Another customer intervened, chastising the black-haired man. "How can you be so shameless? I saw you clearly." Unbothered, the man sneered. "So what if you did? If you're upset, try hitting me." The frightened waitress tried to leave, but before she could, Chen stood up and confronted the man. "I've never met someone as arrogant as you," Chen said cold. The black-haired man laughed. "Well, now you've met me. Not happy? Then hit me." The black-haired man challenged Chen, shouting, "Do you dare to come and hit me?" He laughed, calling Chen another hot-blooded youngster who only knows how to talk. This made Chen very angry. While walking toward the man, he asked the waitress if their store had surveillance cameras. Hearing Chen, the waitress understood what he meant, and immediately disconnected the surveillance camera's power. After that, she told Chen that the cameras were broken. Chen smiled because now there would be no evidence. Seeing the waitress pull out the camera's power plug, the black-haired man got scared. Realizing that he had messed up, Chen moved toward him and slapped him so hard that with just one strike, the man fell to the ground and lost consciousness. After slapping the man, Chen smirked, saying, "In this day and age, someone actually wants to get beaten up. How ridiculous." He then left the coffee shop and returned to the warehouse. While lying on the sofa, he practiced his new lightning ability. After a few minutes, a system notification came, telling Chen that his thunder control experience had increased by 10, and his mental strength by 1 point. While practicing, Chen thought to himself, "A human life, barely a century, is but a blink in the lifespan of a star, and one day, I will break through the boundary of life and death." The next day, while leaving in his car, Chen asked his secretary to find time to study accounting books, because she would have to handle the company's finances when the time came. Chen added that he would pay her double. The secretary hesitated but accepted since her pay would increase. Seeing Chen enter the car, she asked him where they were heading next. Chen told her they were going to sell some stuff. After searching for a few minutes, they found a shop. The owner introduced himself as Gaw, the proprietor of the antique shop. Chen pointed at the suitcase his secretary was holding and asked Mr. Gaw if he could help estimate how much the plate was worth. Mr. Gaw invited them inside to discuss the matter upstairs. Chen opened his suitcase and showed Mr. Gaw the ancient plate. While examining it, Mr. Gaw noticed a salty smell of seawater and immediately realized it had just been salvaged. He turned to Chen and said, "The plate is genuine, but it's part of a set. Since you only have one piece, its value is significantly lower." Chen laughed and admitted, "It really was a set. When I found this porcelain bottle, there were plenty of others around it. Unfortunately, this is the only intact one." Hearing that, Mr. Gaw sighed. "It's a shame. If it's just this one piece, I can only offer 4.5 million. Chen closed the suitcase and replied, "That's all right. I'll think about it." A few hours later, after wandering around many shops, Chen and his secretary stood on the street. The secretary, sipping coffee, remarked, "After visiting so many stores, Mr. Gaw still seemed the most genuine." Chen, munching on snacks, nodded. "Well, he did make the highest offer. Maybe we should just sell it to him." But he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the look in Mr. Gaw's eyes. That guy was definitely hiding something. Meanwhile, in a luxurious villa, Mr. Gaw met with his boss, who asked, "Are you saying you've found a lead on the sunken ship we've been searching for?" Mr. Gaw showed the plate Chen had sold him. "Look at this porcelain. It bears the official seal we've been looking for. The young man who sold it must know more." The boss ordered, "Give the information to Fox. Within half an hour, I want everything on that young man." Minutes later, Mr. Gaw had Chen's details. This guy was an ordinary college student who suddenly spent 3 million on a luxury car, and even went overseas with Li Tianrui. He hesitated. Should we still take action, considering his connections? The yellow-haired boss, Du Hong, laughed. "Take action." That night, as Chen lay in bed, he recalled Mr. Gaw handing him a form to fill out, claiming it was for future transactions. Though Chen complied, he couldn't shake the feeling the deal had gone too smoothly. Was Gaw hiding something? He hoped nothing strange would happen. The next morning, Chen left his apartment, stepping into the elevator. "Last night was uneventful. Maybe I was overthinking it." He decided to head straight to school to check things out. Another thought crossed his mind. After absorbing the sea python, my strength and muscle density are 50 to 60 times that of a normal person. Could I withstand gunfire now? As the elevator reached the ground floor, a hooded thug waited outside. The moment Chen stepped out, the man grabbed him from behind, pressing a gun to his back. "Don't move or make a sound. Come with me." Chen complied, letting the thug lead him to a car where another accomplice waited. They drove off, kidnapping him. Playing scared, Chen asked, "Where are you taking me?" "I don't recall offending anyone." The driver sneered. "We're taking you to meet someone. Don't try anything." They arrived at an abandoned warehouse, where a group of armed thugs and their boss stood waiting. "Boss, we brought the guy." The thug leader glared at Chen, shouting, "Let me see the bastard who kept me waiting all night." But upon seeing the boss's face, Chen's fearful act vanished. Smiling calmly, he asked, "Why is it just you guys?" The thugs tensed, baffled by his sudden confidence. The boss barked, "What are you standing around for? Grab your weapons!" Guns pointed at Chen, but in a flash, he spun and kicked the thug behind him. The man's weapon flew as Chen struck again, crushing his face. Snatching the gun, Chen let the thug collapse, dead in one move. The boss tightened his grip on his pistol. "Kid, you've got one gun. I've got two, and yours only has one bullet. You're surrounded." Chen smirked. "Haven't you figured it out yet? You're the one surrounded by me." Looking down at the thugs, he demanded, "Now tell me who's behind you. If you're honest, I'll make it quick."